Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. There's been a big problem they've been trying to fix for years, and today we're diving right into it. Oh, and there's another issue we can't ignore. It's a big one. So hit that like button and stick with me, because I've got some exciting news you won't want to miss. We're exploring a massive opportunity for the Falcons in the 2025 NFL Draft. Let's jump in. For over a decade, the Falcons have struggled with one major issue: the pass rush. If you're a Falcons fan, you know exactly what I mean. Sure, we've seen a few bright moments here and there, but nothing has really stuck. The last time Atlanta's pass rush truly stood out was back in 2016. That year, Vic Beasley, just in his second NFL season, dominated with 15.5 sacks, leading the entire league. For a moment, it felt like the Falcons had solved their problem, but fast forward to today, and things didn't pan out as we hoped. Beasley remains the last Falcons player to record double-digit sacks, and that was nearly 9 years ago. Now, as we approach the 2025 NFL Draft, General Manager Terry Fontenot has a golden opportunity to finally fix this issue. With the 17th overall pick, the Falcons have a chance to grab a defensive game-changer, someone who can transform the pass rush and make a lasting impact. So who could that be? According to the latest mock draft by Cody Williams from Fansided, the Falcons should target James Pierce Jr., a standout defensive end from the University of Tennessee. And let me tell you, Falcons fans, this guy is a monster on the field. Standing at 6'5" and weighing 245 pounds, Pierce has the size, speed, and skill to wreak havoc on opposing quarterbacks. Critics might say his frame is a little light, but don't let that fool you. Pierce is explosive, quick, and powerful off the edge. If he bulks up a bit without losing his speed, he could be the answer the Falcons have been looking for. Pierce's college stats back it up too. Over the last 3 seasons at Tennessee, he's been a consistent force. In 2023, he recorded 10 sacks, forced 2 fumbles, and even returned an interception 52 yards for a touchdown. Impressive, right? Then in 2024, he added another 7.5 sacks and recovered a fumble. That's 17.5 sacks in just 26 games. But here's the bottom line, Falcons fans. Atlanta has struggled to deliver a consistent pass rush for years. In fact, they finished dead last in the NFL in this department. This draft could be the moment to change that, and James Pierce Jr. might just be the key to turning things around. Let's talk about a tough reality for the Falcons. They've struggled with sacks, not just once, but twice, finishing near the bottom of the league in 2015 and again in 2021. That's hard to accept, especially when you look at their history. Since 2005, the Falcons have only hit 40 or more sacks in a season once. That happened in 2023, but even then, the team ranked 31st in the league last season with just 31 sacks. The only team below them was the Patriots, with 28 sacks. Here's something even more frustrating. 21 of those 31 sacks came in the last 6 games of the season. That means, for most of the year, the Falcons' pass rush was practically non-existent. Clearly, there's still a lot of work to do, but James Pierce Jr. could be the key to finally turning this around. What do the Falcons need? A player who can consistently create pressure, disrupt quarterbacks, and take this defense to the next level. Pierce has the skills, the potential, and the upside to do just that. Imagine pairing him with some of the other defensive pieces Atlanta already has. This defense could go from being a weakness to being a true force in the league. But now, I want to hear from you, Falcons fans. What do you think about James Pierce Jr.? Could he be the guy to fix Atlanta's long-standing pass rush issues? Or do you have someone else in mind who could take the defense to new heights? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now let's shift gears and talk about something that's been on everyone's mind: Kirk Cousins and his future with the Falcons. The Falcons have a lot to figure out this offseason. They've already made some big moves, like hiring Jeff Ulbrich as the new defensive coordinator, but the biggest question still looms. What should they do with Kirk Cousins? This could be a defining moment for the franchise. Cousins was brought in as a veteran leader, the guy who could hold things together while the Falcons prepared for the future with a new quarterback. But let's be honest, his performance this season hasn't been good enough. Cousins threw for just 358 yards with 18 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. Even worse, he led the league in interceptions at the time of his benching. Over a brutal 4-game stretch, he threw 8 picks and 0 touchdowns, resulting in 4 straight losses. That kind of performance puts the Falcons in a tough spot. In my opinion, the Falcons need to push for a trade. It's time to sit down with Cousins and have an honest conversation. Kirk, we appreciate everything you've done for this team. You've been a true professional, but we're moving forward with Michael Penix Jr. as our starting quarterback. The Falcons have to make tough choices, and this might be the first big step toward building a brighter future. So here's the situation with Kirk Cousins. The Falcons need to decide how to move forward. They can give him 2 options: stay as the highest paid backup in the league and support Michael Penix Jr., or waive his no-trade clause and find a team where he can get one last shot as a starting quarterback. It might sound harsh, but the Falcons need to focus on their future. Cousins just isn't the long-term solution for this team, and sticking with him would only slow down their progress. Now let's talk money, because this decision isn't just about football. If the Falcons release Cousins before the start of the 2025 league year, they'll face a massive $65 million in dead money. If they wait until after June 1st, that amount gets split over 2 seasons, $40 million in 2025 and $25 million in 2026. Trading Cousins isn't much better. The Falcons would still take on $37.5 million in dead money, but the new team would take over his fully guaranteed $27.5 million base salary. Even then, the Falcons might have to cover part of his salary to make a trade work. It's a tough financial situation, no matter how you look at it. Here's where it gets interesting. When the Falcons signed Cousins and drafted Penix, they planned for this money to go toward the quarterback position. They hoped Cousins would perform well for 2 seasons while they developed Penix. But now, things have changed, and the team might need to take a small financial hit for a much bigger reward. Let's not forget, there's a $10 million roster bonus for Cousins that becomes fully guaranteed on March 17th. This gives the Falcons a short window to act. If they can convince Cousins to waive his no-trade clause and move to a team where he could start, it would free up resources to focus on other areas of need. And let's be real, the quarterback situation isn't as desperate as it once was. Penix is ready to take over, and the Falcons have other issues to address, especially on defense. Hiring Jeff Ulbrich as the new defensive coordinator was a step in the right direction. But the team needs a serious boost in talent to become competitive again. There are also key free agents the Falcons need to prioritize, starting with Drew Dalman, the team's starting center. Dalman is one of the best run-blocking centers in the NFL, and keeping him on the roster would provide much-needed stability for the offensive line. But here's the challenge. Other teams know how valuable Dalman is, so his price tag will likely go up. Expect his new contract to land in the $44–48 million range over 3 or 4 years. The Falcons have tough decisions to make, but with the right moves, they can set themselves up for long-term success. Let's shift our focus to 3 important players who could shape the Falcons' offseason decisions: Justin Simmons, Matthew Judon, and Drew Dalman. First up is Justin Simmons, the veteran safety known for his excellent ball-hawking skills. Simmons has been a steady presence for the Falcons and could still be a valuable asset moving forward. While it's true, that the market for older safeties can be challenging, Simmons remains instinctive, reliable, and productive. Bringing him back would be a smart move if the price is right. Next, let's talk about Matthew Judon. He was brought in via trade with high expectations, but the results have been underwhelming. After a strong 2022 season, Judon's production took a sharp dip, and he hasn't lived up to the hype in 2024. His performance has been disappointing, and it's clear his impact on the field hasn't matched the investment. Unless the Falcons can sign him to a team-friendly deal, it might be time to part ways and look elsewhere for pass-rushing help. Finally, there's Drew Dalman, the starting center and one of the best run-blocking linemen in the NFL. Retaining Dalman is a top priority for the Falcons, as his presence provides crucial stability to the offensive line. However, his talent hasn't gone unnoticed, and other teams will likely be competing for his services, which could drive up his price. Locking him in with a new deal will be essential to maintaining continuity in the trenches. So Falcons fans, there's a lot riding on this offseason. The decision about Kirk Cousins is just the beginning, but it's a big one. Should the Falcons keep him as a backup, or is it time to move on? And what about Simmons, Judon, and Dalman? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What moves do you think the Falcons should make to set themselves up for success? As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates. Go Falcons!